cool.
Yeah, we will
things
see.
To come.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you. Yeah. Let's see, Dorothy's on. We got Pam, Monica, Jen.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, you.
Hi.
And I didn't hear one way or another from Ron if he was going to be here, so I anticipate he will.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I didn't get anything.
We'll wait a minute and then move on.
Yeah. Too many screens. Like a nice early meeting with our holiday.
Yep. All right, it's 3:00. We don't usually get done at these anyway, do we?
Not generally. So
no,
yeah.
So we might as well proceed. Do you want to start, Gabrielle?
Yeah, kick it off.
Go ahead. We've got the anything you need us to know, and then tell us about the annual report.
Sure. So one note just about our minutes. We have the workshop minutes from this month or last month, June. Our hearing minutes, which were the week before, we still haven't finalized. So we'll just put those on the next agenda in August. Okay. And then the pre-PC meetings, Jen is on vacation, but is joining us. I don't know if she'll have time to do those this afternoon. If she does, then we can add them to the hearing on Monday. Okay. If not, then we can also put those on the hearing. And thank you for being here, Jen. And with that, I think that's all procedurally we need to cover. So the first item we have is the annual report. I did mention at the workshop last week that our format has changed a little bit. The state has provided a new template document that they're encouraging jurisdictions and the counties to use. I think primarily because it probably helps them to extract out the data that they need most easily, because it's all in kind of a uniform space and in the same kind of reporting manner. So we want to support the initiatives that they have in being able to access all that data. So we have transformed our annual report into that format. So it's a little different than what you've seen in the past years. We didn't include as much kind of general services. If you'll recall, our annual reports generally capture kind of just like almost like a who we are document that talks about what, the planning department does these various functions. This new report doesn't capture kind of that broad overview, but it does capture the departmental functions and kind of the quantity of work and the types of projects we were reviewing, which I think is the really valuable component of it. Something that's more general, just who we are and what our department is. I think we have great opportunities to provide a general document for the public, kind of a 101, but that's a separate thing we want to work on. The other component, procedurally, the Planning Commission, you'll notice that within the first couple of pages of the annual report is a draft letter that would come from the Planning Commission supporting I think it's in there. Oh, maybe we did not include that in document, sorry. The goal of Monday night will be to, so the first third page of the document is basically our submission. So we want the Planning Commission to actually be submitting this report to the state. So we do want to take a vote on it. We'll submit it for you, of course, but this should be the Planning Commission's report to the state. So we'll ask that you vote on it at the hearing. And then after that, we will present it to the mayor and board. We haven't decided in what format that will be. The board doesn't really have a role in adopting it. This really is a planning function. I'd like to see in future years this be maybe a kind of more public opportunity to showcase, even with the mayor and board of aldermen, the work that's been done. So I think it's a really important document. But after the Planning Commission reviews it, approves it on Monday, we will submit it to the board. And if they wish to discuss it at a workshop or have it presented more formally, we'll do that after it goes to the state.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? Dorothy? Any questions?
Not really. Not really. I'm just looking at page 4, I guess, real quickly. So all these things are, so I guess the projects from 2023 that were approved, I guess.
So these are projects even before 2023. These are ongoing development projects. So some of them had master plans approved, previous, something like Kellerton, has been an ongoing thing since 2017. But these are ongoing development activity over the course of the last year.
Okay, so do we at the bottom want to call it projects in 2023, or that's what kind of threw me off, because I thought these were things that I guess we had approved, but these are things predating, some of it, not all of it, but I guess some of it is predating 2023. Is that correct, or am I making an assumption?
Yeah, I think there's probably an opportunity to expand on that title on the bottom of page 4. I don't know if we want to name it something kind of ongoing residential projects.
Okay.
As of 2023, we can make that correction.
Yeah, sure. And I think that was it. There was an acronym. I was trying to figure out what it was, but I didn't mark it. So I think I'm good. Thank you. This was an interesting document. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Excellent. Yeah, I think it was a good exercise. Arash and Brandon actually did most of the work pulling all this great data together. But I think it's a great platform for us to really expand on our reporting capabilities in future years. Thank you.
Great. If there's nothing else, then I guess we can move on to the next agenda, which is the Yellow Springs School. Monica, do you want to give us an update of what's been going on?
So the hot topic at Yellow Springs School is the traffic. There's a lot of community involvement in that plan, and it pretty much all focuses on the fact that they don't want the traffic to come in through Spring Run Drive. They want a second access on Christopher's Crossing. And so at the workshop, you asked the applicant to put together basically a summary of all of the concepts that they looked at and why they weren't chosen and how they were evaluated. And they did that. They did a great job. And they submitted that document, and it's basically showing that they looked at all of these options and they just aren't safe for cars, for traffic, for kids. We can't have cars backing up on Christopher's Crossing. And Cherian, I'm glad that you're on here, and I'm hoping that you'll be there Monday night as well. So yeah, that was kind of the big beef, but the engineers and our engineers are all in agreement that the current configuration is the safest and the best for the school. So there's probably going to be a lot of engagement, but yeah, that's the big thing. And I got an email earlier this week. The applicant is submitting an application. The main lot has 108 spaces, and so they're submitting a modification request. Parking spaces or parking lots over 100 spaces are supposed to have 2 access points. And so they've kind of gotten this idea that this will force them to put a second access onto Christopher's Crossing. And I've told them that no, that's not the case, but I think that's what that's going to be the tack. That's what you're going to hear a lot of.
Say that again. Who thinks that? The applicants think that that's going to, or
no, ma'am.
The public
yes.
thinks that because there's 108 spots, that's
right.
going to force, okay.
That it's going to force a second access onto Christopher's Crossing. And I've told them that's not the case, but I think that's what we're going to hear a lot of.
Okay. All right. I see we have Ron with us.
Hello, Ron.
Sorry, Mike.
Let me just do a quick roll call then, since there's 3 of us. April, do you have any questions, comments? No, I see no. Dorothy? Any questions or comments?
Actually, yeah, I just have, it's more of a clarifying question, just to make sure that I understand. I think it's about the, something similar. What was it about? I'm looking now. I was trying to figure out what type of road. I was trying to understand and kind of make the connection. The LMC section 601E1 says that all parking areas of more than 100 spaces shall have at least 1 access point to a public street and 1 access point to an adjacent property. And I was trying to figure out what is Spring Run Drive? Is that like a public street?
Yes, ma'am. Yep, that's a public street. So that's their one. What they're missing is that second onto an adjacent property.
Correct.
But yeah.
But Christopher Crossing is not an adjacent property, so I don't know how they thought that that would force them to have another access point.
Second Street, though.
So that's a little confusing to me. Okay, yeah. So and then the other question that I had was I was trying to make sure I understood the Walter what is it? The Walter Martz Road. So I read that there was a circle and then there was a traffic calming. Are they both the same thing, or is one separate from the other?
I believe they're the same thing, but I'm going to defer to Cherian on this one.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Cherian.
Good afternoon. Yeah, great question. So these are two separate ones. So from an APFO standpoint, what the traffic study required to do was provide a mitigation at that intersection. So they're providing that we call them urban mini roundabout. The other part to it, which is the traffic calming element to it, if the stretch of Walter Martz Road today from Spring Run north, when you get to Frederick County, I believe it's about 40 feet wide curb to curb.
Okay.
And it's basically striped with a center line. So the lanes are 20 feet wide. What the proposal we have, which is separate from this project, regardless of this project, we were going to do that in-house, was restriping Walter Martz Road to a 3-lane section. So we are repurposing that 40-foot lane from 2 lanes to a 3-lane section. Gotcha. With 12-foot lanes in each direction and creating a medians to kind of address the speeding issue, which has been documented as part of the study and as part of this case. So that's the separate city initiative restriping plan, our traffic calming restriping plan for Walter Martz Road. So we'll transition that as the road goes into Frederick County, essentially trimming it down to 2 lanes.
Gotcha. Thank you. That was helpful.
Sure. Yeah, you're welcome.
Ron, do you have any questions?
No questions, but I love these new terms. Now we have a UMR. That's a new part of our acronym vocabulary. What was it? Urban mini roundabout. UMR.
Yeah, it just, I mean, I always like to give some additional information as planning commission members. Yeah. I mean, I know we live in a different world, and I just kind of used to share, because we've running into the same issue everywhere from a traffic control, whether it's somebody's complaining that it's not stopping at a 4-way stop or there is a delay. So what we're running into is that similar cases all over the city. So we're working on a capital project for CIP project for Willowdale Drive, where we're proposing sort of these mini roundabouts for Willowdale and Key Parkway, with Willowdale and Seneca Drive. As you know, you may have seen the Motor and 13th. We call it an egg about. So where we ran into the design issue was that a full-blown roundabout is very difficult. So we kind of taken a step back and said, we can standardize. We can bring citywide for implementation, we can come up with a design that will apply. So that's really where we're working with the FCPS. We're working with our own consultants to bring a standard mini roundabout design, which will be mountable, which can still use, but we are trying to bring some design elements that functionally will work very well for any applying this anywhere in the city. So you will see these pop up anywhere in your neighborhood. So say, that's great. Hopefully it's advancing some of the goals of the city.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And then I'll get to Dorothy's other question in a minute, but so Monica, the traffic, or at least the executive summary from the traffic study was included in the package. I took a quick look at that, and to me, it didn't, given that traffic is the biggest issue here, it didn't give me enough information on what was done and what was found in the traffic study. And I was wondering if you could just send us the whole thing, even if you don't make it as part of the package, just send it to the planning commission. Is that feasible?
Yes, I think that I think I've sent you everything that I have, but I'll make sure that I don't have any additional information. You
Okay,
mean the
well,
whole thing?
what I got from the website, from what was on the website that I downloaded, the city website, the only thing in there under the traffic study was a 1-page executive summary.
Oh, and you want the whole traffic study?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I can do that.
I mean, I probably won't understand most of it, but the 1-page summary didn't really give me enough understanding of the methods or the conclusions to be able to think about it. So,
Gotcha.
I mean, if you just send it to the rest of the board, they can ignore it if they don't want to see it.
right.
And then the other question that I had, you said that the applicant did go through and run through all of the different scenarios and why they all didn't work. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
haven't really had a chance to look at a lot of the new package yet. Could you just remind me which section of the package that's in so I can be sure to take a close look at it?
That is a good question. And where that landed in the packet, let me just take a quick look here. There's a lot of public comment.
Yeah, a lot of it was old. A lot of it we saw
Yeah.
in the by the workshop. The only thing that I saw new as far as public comment was the public comment that Churian responded to about the traffic study.
Right. And that was
Okay.
about, that's about all there is. But yeah, I will. Here.
I mean, if
I might
you
have
don't know off the top of your head, you can just send a quick email out, or we'll say maybe Gabrielle is wanting to say something.
Here. Yeah, and I can put it in the chat too. I'm going to turn off my camera so that I can look through my folder here real quick.
That's good. Yeah. So, and so Dorothy, did you have something else? Another question that you had?
And I was actually, I had two. That was one of the things I was going to say was, where was there a high level debrief about the different scenarios that they had tested or tried and what was wrong with it or why it didn't work, stuff like that was one of the things that I was going to ask. And then the second one had nothing to do with that. It had to do with, I think somewhere in the middle of page 4, I was just wanting to make sure I understood what was happening. It talked about the shared path. Then it talked about the fact that the Frederick County Public Schools wanted to add a 50-foot forested buffer. And for some reason, and then an easement, but something was not working. Or I don't know, it says funding of this section of there was something. Oh, I guess it says it's premature to execute an easement with a defined location that may need to be amended in the future. So is it because you don't know where the shared path is going to be just yet?
Pretty much, yeah. And Gabrielle, you've spoken to people about this one, so I'm going to defer so that it's not secondhand.
Sure, they have an approximate kind of trajectory of the path shown on the site plan sheets, and it's along kind of the buffer forested area and the floodplain, primarily outside of the floodplain. But until the site's graded and that location is actually designed and where the alignment is going to be, Frederick County Public Schools was hesitant to execute an easement to the city for that specific area because it would require potentially abandoning that easement, redoing the easement. I don't know if they testified at the workshop, but in our discussions with them, and I think we mentioned in the staff report, they have to go through a process when they're encumbering land because they receive funding from the state. So it seemed premature at this point to actually have that recorded document executed by FCPS or the Board of Ed. Okay. Until we know that exact location, and we don't have funding for that in the CIP at this point. So once that project progresses along, we're asking that they note on the plan to commemorate or memorialize the commitment to provide that and show the intent of that approximate trail location.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And to circle back to your question, Joan.
Yes.
Sorry, it's number 2. It's right behind the staff report, and it's the traffic study analysis is what it's called.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Does anybody else have anything else they want to add about this? Nope.
No, just Churian again.
Yeah.
So if you have any, when you have to take a look at the traffic study, if you have any questions, please feel to email me, copy Monica. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
This is Dorothy real quickly. So
thank you.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I apologize to everyone for that.
Nope.
I was just thinking about what Monica said. Is the full traffic study in our packet?
No,
I have a hard copy, and so it's probably online then, correct?
no, she's going to send it to us.
Yeah,
only
I'm going to
thing-
email that out.
The
Okay,
only
sorry.
thing in the packet was the one-page executive summary, so I asked her to email that to us.
Gotcha. Sorry about that. Thank you.
That's okay.
And the study itself was about 18 megabytes, so some of you may not hit that. So I don't know, Monica, you can, and for the purpose of the commissioners, if you would just want to look at the study report and not the appendix, or you can
Probably
split
that
the
would be
study in the
sufficient.
appendix and send it, because you get into a lot of the calculations and stuff in the appendix. Maybe it may not be what you're looking for. If you want a casual reading, you can just have the report portion.
That probably sounds
Yeah.
reasonable. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect, thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. Anything else? Oh,
No,
all right.
Joan,
Well, then-
thanks for suggesting that.
Yeah, I read the executive summary and I'm like, okay, I don't get enough of this.
Yeah, they
And-
didn't do a good job of providing it. I mean, I wish there was a
Right,
little more
yeah.
matter to
And-
it that's pertinent to your
And
review.
since traffic is like the big issue, so, yeah. All right, if there's nothing else, then we can go on to the last item, which is the Prospect Center zoning map amendment. Is that Pam's?
Hold on, unmute myself. Yes. I actually won't be there that night, and Gabrielle will present the plan for you. But since the workshop, they have reduced the area of the property for rezoning to 19 acres because they have plans for part of the property in the future that they're hoping to put some residential type of units on the property. And in institutional, they would not be able to do that. So instead of encumbering the whole zone as institutional and then having to come back and reverse it, they have left it as this. And then we look for possibly and more than likely subdivide this property to split the zones. So that's the biggest change right now. And then also too, there was a lot of feedback or some feedback from the public about the appropriateness of having that tower visible from along US 15 and the uses and everything being along there. And this is, as I noted in the staff report, part of the hollowed ground along US 15 that you've seen that we try to treat with the Bloomfield and the Homewood properties that came in for planting. And so it has been recommended by staff to consider maybe reversing in the future when they come in with their site plan, or even demonstrate at this point of maybe flipping the building and the tower and all the equipment on the other side. Also making sure and see if they can put some trees and buffering at the lower end along US 15 and to see what they can do to mitigate some of this. And that was some of the biggest things that notable thing. And also too, this is the first hearing for the zoning map amendment, and then they will be back again in August. So if you have any questions.
Great. Thank you. Dorothy, do you have any questions?
Just an observation on I guess the applicant submission. Their justification statement, I just thought was interesting about the population change. All I really saw on there was just a regurgitation of the comprehensive plan. I didn't really see anything that spoke to, what they perceive to be or, think will be a population change. I mean, I didn't see anything. That was more of an observation.
Yeah, I think they noted the population numbers and stuff and growth, but I don't know if there's anything to really say the population change, except that the city of Frederick is expanding, and more people, as you know, because you see all the plans coming through for units and everything else. And I
Right.
think that they are just looking at trying to establish another campus to compensate for Montague and all the other services that they do have. So I would just say that is part of the intensifying of the population change for the city.
Okay, thank you.
Ron, do you have any questions or comments?
Nothing, thanks.
April?
No, no questions. Thank you.
Right. I don't have any questions at this point either. Is there anything else we need to talk about for this project? No. Anything else we need to talk about in general? Nope, not seeing.
Happy holiday.
Yes. So I
Enjoy
just
the fourth,
wanted to-
yeah.
Oh, wait. I do have a question. Sorry. I just can't get to my mute. I don't know. It's just bizarre. My mute button is bizarre. But as far as the information that we'll be submitting to the mayor and board of aldermen, is this a time we could bring a wireless keyboard if we need to change or add or
as
do anything?
far as
Maybe I
which-
misunderstood. I'm sorry. I must have misunderstood. Never mind.
No, for the rezoning component. So at Monday's hearing, we won't have to make any recommendations quite yet because it's just the first of two. So it
Okay.
would be at the August hearing that the planning commission would be crafting a motion.
Okay.
Oh, so
Thank you.
cute.
Adorable.
Meet Gus Beatty, everybody.
Oh, he's
Those
adorable.
eyes,
One-
just
Yeah.
beautiful.
One of the things that he's been working on is banging a gavel. So, Joan, I think you have a
Okay,
couple of years
practicing.
before he's going to try to bang the gavel.
Yeah.
Is he going to be
Say
a
hi.
new planning commission member?
Yep, absolutely.
He's got lots of hair.
Yeah. That is
big eyes.
adorable.
Oh, sweet.
Hi.
So-
Hi, buddy.
Anyway, I just want to remind everybody that on the workshop on the 15th, I will not be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
My movers are coming on the 14th, so there's no way that I'm going to be ready for the workshop on the 15th. So Dorothy, if you need to, you want to practice or you want to go over something with me or anybody else, just let us know on Monday.
All right, thank you. I'll just wait for the, I think the, what was it that I was waiting for? The instructions? No, the verbiage, but yeah.
Didn't I
Yep.
send that to you all?
Yeah, but I think Gabrielle's adding some more stuff to it.
I'm going to supplement it with kind of just a demonstration case of like the specific kind of for each
Oh.
narrative, kind of just step by step
good
walk through each
idea.
one. Yeah, kind of
Okay.
merge it in your document and then I'll send it out to the whole group.
Cool.
It's good for everybody to have, and then we'll retain it for our records too, for
Yeah,
as a working document that we can continue to evolve as needed.
sounds good.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, well, if there's nothing else, then we can adjourn the meeting for today and see you all on Monday night.
All
All right.
Sounds
Have
good.
a good
Take
one.
care.
Bye.
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 Have a good fourth, everybody.
Bye.